Okay. It seems that my Wi-Fi card decided to have a little bit of a hissy fit. So it just killed my stream. Thank you very much. And now I am no longer connected to YouTube. Am I connected back to YouTube now? Are we reconnected now? Yes, it looks like we are reconnected now. Okay, sorry for that, for anybody that was watching. Yes, it looks like we are reconnected now. Okay, sorry for that, for anybody that was watching. My Wi-Fi and decided to just sentence, so I'm not quite sure when the signal died. And for some reason my internet is freaking out. Right, excellent connection. Are we all back now? Chat working? Seem connected to me. Yeah, okay. As long as people can see and hear. My restream doesn't seem to be. Oh, there we go. That needed refreshing. Okay, everything's back to working again. Thank you, crappy Wi-Fi card. So, I don't know where I was, where it cut out exactly. But we'll just carry on. Right, so, I think I was explaining this drone. He works similar to the little pink one that was driving around, except he has got a new ore detector attached to him that's got a funky little animation that spins around. And we've also got a large grid version that doesn't spin, unfortunately. That's a fixed one, but it is quite cool. Quite an interesting design. Would probably look quite cool as part of some kind of antenna array. Yeah, we've got this small, funky little spinning small grid version. The shrimp, which I will be publishing at some point this week, has got one on the front of him. So he can detect ore. I mean, not really, not that the ore detectors can really interact with the AI blocks in any kind of way, but it's good to have one on something you're using for mining. It's a cool little bit of added detail. So this guy, I've just set him up to be a little follow drone. So if we were out and about in the wilderness, we've got him to back us up. And to, oh, speaking of backup, we found a wolf. There we go. My drones. There's this wolf. Now the AI blocks have got quite a long detection range, so they've spotted him. All the way over there. I'm just going to quickly turn damage off, let him kill that. Turn it back off again, because I don't want things exploding right now. And I'm still trying to work out an effective way around not being able to use collision avoidance with ground drones, because if you turn collision avoidance on the AI blocks, they will just try and run away from the floor, which isn't really helpful. So I'm trying to figure out a way of doing that with sensors and having mixed results. Obviously he is now going to drive straight towards that. The sensor on the back will make it back away. But he will just try and keep going towards that waypoint annoyingly. Sometimes the AI blocks get bored and they will just, there we go, hopefully skip to the next position. And then when the sensor is out of range of that, he should drive away. There we go. And that's about as good as I've got it at the moment, with getting these drones to not smack into stuff. And then he will just go back to his patrol route again. So I'm going to publish all the mechs in this over the next couple of days on Steam and Mod.io, so everyone can play with them. What else have we got? I will show off the bigger mechs later on, because they're mostly just new designs. There's nothing particularly new technology-wise in them. Oh yeah, let's show off the Sphinx. So, I released a video today of this new mining rig that I've built, which I've named the Sphinx, because it kind of gives me Sphinx vibes, the way I've designed them. Oh, I'm still attached to that drone. So, if anyone's seen my Mech Yard Survival series, they'll have seen my Red Knee, Redfish mining drone thing. It's like a two-part base and mining drone. This is a similar idea, but it's a lot more industrial, and it's got some of these cool new tool blocks. In fact, on the subject of tool blocks, let's have a look at the new ones. So, we've got large grid and small grid welders. This is the new type of them. They look quite cool. And we've got the new grinders, which are very menacing, just a great big dual saw blade thing. And then we've got the new drills, which have just got a big excavator style scoop thing on the front. And they're pretty much the same in terms of small and large grid versions. They're just scaled down for the small grid ones. Yeah, this guy has got a bunch of the new drills on it, and some of the new ore detectors, just to double up a bunch of the new drills on it, and some of the new ore detectors, just to double up as ore detection for us, and because they also look cool. I didn't have to put two on them, but I thought. I've also programmed it with my vanilla subgrid wheel setup, so these tank track type things on the front can function properly. It's got an ejector system for getting rid of any unwanted bits, and a ladder on the back for easy access. So we can climb into there. There we go. We can then detach ourselves, and we can drive away. Oh, and our little mining drone is still following us. You can come for a ride with us, why not? And we can drive off on it. So, like my other subgrid wheel things, I have set it up. This one I haven't done steering control for the front wheels, because they don't really need it. I've got steering on the back like a forklift instead. It does have a handbrake, which I've set up to be triggered by, you can just about see it if I get rid of my toolbar. There's a thruster on the bottom, so when I press that, it triggers a light, and that light triggers the handbrakes on the subgrid wheels. So we've got a handbrake to use, because the two big wheels on the back weren't really giving me enough braking power to stop it reasonably quickly, so decided to give it full brake controls on there. And we've got a decent view from the cockpit. And because we are attached to a grid with an ore detector on it, when we get over to an ore deposit, we'll be able to see it. I'll drive over here and set this up. So this mining drone is set up a little bit differently from the jellyfish I did in a backyard. Ooh, there we go, we've got an iron signal right there, about 30 meters down. Yeah, cool. What else we got around here? Got more iron. Got a few holes over here already from where I've done some drill testing. Got a big cobalt patch down there. Oh, hey Kenneth, how you doing, man? Hey Arkville, how are you doing? Right, so this guy here, this drone. Actually, why did I get out of the cockpit? So I've got a toolbar control on my toolbar for handbrake. Turn that on so we don't move around. Now, this guy, like I said, is designed similar to my... Oh, hey Prestige Reaper. No, there is no auto planting. The only thing, I've had the same results, the only thing that we cannot automate with the farming seems to be actually planting it. Everything else, the collecting, all that kind of stuff, the processing, you can automate to certain degrees. But the actual planting, no, that has to be done manually. Which is a little annoying. I'd like to be able to automate the whole system, but I suppose they want you to actually interact with it in some way. But yeah, like I was saying, this mining rig that I've been working on, similar to my old jellyfish design. So I've got an ejector system light for the drone itself. I've designed a big, like, laser projected, like, targeting column, so that projects all the way down, about 100 meters down. Because I've currently set him up to dig 100 meters. I could do it, I could make it go further, I just haven't got around to it. So we can project that, and then there is a series of AI blocks inside the drone here, which will make him launch, reorient himself so he is facing downwards, and then one of the other new features, which hasn't really been advertised that much. We go into here. Is it in here? I'll just show you anyway. So the drills, the tool blocks, now have an on and off switch for terrain clearing mode. I can't remember whether that was this update or the last one, but it now makes digging down to greater depths a little bit easier, and you can get down to the ore a little bit quicker than having to clear it all out with ejectors and sorters and things. So my drill rig is set up to turn that on when we want to start drilling, and then in the drill AI it has a whole bunch of waypoints that take it down. I think I've set it up for 10 meter intervals at the moment, and then we can just set a action, which I've tied into a light, to turn the terrain mode off again. So what that effectively means is, if I hit this timer and launch the drone, he will fly up, he will orient himself into position. Oh yeah, I forgot I left that on. There you go, we can see the AI route that he takes all the way down to the bottom of there. And then he will start heading towards the ground, and you'll just start tearing out with the terrain removal mode. And then when he gets to our chosen depth, with whatever waypoint we assigned it to, I think it's that one there maybe. There we go. No, he's going a bit deeper. Ah, there we go. He has now turned off terrain clearing mode, and he's gone back to normal drilling mode, and he is now collecting ore properly. And he has got a sensor on him somewhere. If I put it, there we go. He's got a sensor on the front of him that detects the floor, and when it detects the voxels, it zeroes the speed limit on the AI block, so it can't move any. And when it doesn't detect the floor anymore, it increases it again so it can start moving. And then he's got an event controller tied to the drills, and when they fill up, he will re-dock himself. So he'll fly all the way back up. Then he'll engage his docking AI, hopefully. There we go. He'll fly back over there, and he'll hopefully land. There we go, and then he lands back down, locks back into place. He's got a broadcast controller on him to send us that. Oh, was it Prestige Reaper? Was it as the last update, the terrain mode? Well, it shows you how often I play with drilling. Yeah, there we go. He has auto-drilled that for us. And we can choose to launch him again if we wanted to. This Sphinx has got a modular cargo container inside him, so he's got a decent little chunk of space, although we've collected a reasonable amount of iron. I'll go with that. Oh, I've got some conflicting signals. Yeah, I've got some conflicting signals in there. I forgot about that. What relays have we got here? What signals are we using? 1, 2, 3, and 4. I wondered why you were all the way over here. Let's change your relays to 5 and 6. Okay. 6, please. Thank you. See you later. Turn all those signals off. Okay. So, we've done all that. We do also have... I've built some manual controls from the outside, so if we want to, we can launch him from outside the mining rig. And then he'll just do his thing again and hopefully make his way back up. The AI can occasionally get a little bit funny, especially when you're using lots of AI blocks in one game, which I tend to do quite a lot. And yeah, he'll just drill back down there. And I've set him up to go 100 meters down because some ores tend to be a little bit deep than others sometimes. And yeah, he seems to have cleared that little node of iron. A bit of cobalt at that depth, but Don't know if it spreads that far. But he will continue to drill until he fills up, and if he just fills up on stone, like he has done there, he will return. He will continue to eject stuff until he gets back to the top, and then when he gets back up there, he'll return himself, and he may end up dumping all of that stone into our Sphinx, but we can turn on the ejector system on the back of here, and it'll dump out the stone for us anyway, if we want to get rid of it. Oh, didn't dump all the stone. Looks like it didn't pick any up. Alright, cool. Okie doke. So, that is now full of ore. We can then return back to base, and we can lock down at the base, and we can process it all. So, because I've set that handbrake up to be activated by my up thruster spacebar, I can just turn the handbrake off by tapping my spacebar. And then we can drive back to base. Oh, typical. How did you end up down that hole, you idiot? Has my microphone not been on that whole time? Oh. Why is all my stuff freaking out on me? Has my microphone honestly been switched off for that long? I've only just noticed. For Meg's sake. So I've just been talking to myself. Brilliant. You're watching me silently play the game. Idiot. Why was my microphone on mute? For God's sake. Divvy. Okay, well. Right, what else have we got then? They're all doing their thing, he's doing his thing. Oh yeah, so I've got these new robots that I did a video of the other day. Welcome back. Sorry, Kenneth, I didn't realise my microphone was on mute. I think maybe I need to move the hotkey for that. Somewhere else. Anyway, so I've got these new dudes, which are probably one of the more advanced mechs I've made recently. If I go into spectator cam and have a look inside him, we've got all sorts of things tightly compacted in here. So we've got a whole bunch of AI blocks, which we can just about see, for his overall AI controls. There is, down here somewhere, a bunch of gyros for controlling him. And we've also got the smallest version of my balance control system I've been able to make so far. I'm debating putting some more gyros in there, but I don't need them for the moment. So, this, if you've seen my balance control tutorial on how to do automated balance systems, this is pretty much the most compact version of it I've been able to make so far. So we've got a movement block for keeping it level with planetary gravity, and we've got the recorder block for the signals it needs to stay balanced. And it's got a couple of gyros on it for the control to flip the whole thing over, and that rotor is on share inertia tensor, so it can share all the grid physics across. And then we've got a little secondary balance system, which is literally just an override rotor, a share inertia tensor rotor, and some override gyros that stops the AI blocks going too crazy, because the AI blocks will try and whip your vehicles around quite aggressively. So having a little bit of override gyro like that on an extra subgrid can help contain it a little bit. So this dude basically can't fall over. If I try and tip him forwards, the AI blocks in him will correct him for me and keep him level. Go. And I can manually control him if I want. He's got my manual walk system in him. Maybe I do need to put a few more balance gyros on him. Yeah, I've only programmed him with forward walking for the moment, because getting mechs to automatically walk backwards is a little bit tricky sometimes, so I've just set him up with forward walk controls and a sensor to deactivate his walk controls when his AI is on, so he will hopefully not bash into things too much. And this one, the red guy, he's equipped with some warfare Gatling guns, and he's got a couple of buttons on his legs, one for the patrol mode, one for the guard mode. So if we click the guard mode button, he will follow me, or whatever thing we choose to set the guard mode AI block to. But he is currently just set to follow player on that one, so he'll follow me around, give me a bit of backup. Or we can activate his patrol mode and he will just follow a preset route. Oh, hello there, Red the Rage. Love your design so much that I subscribed so I can learn how to make my own. What do you have a question? Mostly an idea you would like to suggest. What's your suggestion, Red the Rage? I'm always open to suggestions and new ideas. Yeah, there you go. He will just walk around, do his thing. I decided to put some exhaust pipes on the back that spark when the control thruster is firing, just for a little bit of extra visual effect. We've got, I've made four variants of this dude so far. So we've got a Gatling version there. We've got a dual Gatling and assault version here. Oh, I forgot you were following me. And there's a couple more in other places. There we are, they're all the way over here. Oh, I've got an auto cannon version of them here. And there is a Gatling rail cannon, or railgun version here. He's a little bit excessive. I had to turn off character targeting for his offensive block. Oh yeah, that's something I should mention. So, if you want your drones to attack the wildlife, like the wolves and the spiders, check the target characters box, because that's what they are registering as. What's that? What if I make my own mining drone, Excavator drone, an automated version? What's that? What about if you make your own mining excavator drone, an automated version? Have you only just tuned in? Because I do have an excavator drone right here. In fact, I will show them off again, because I don't know whether my microphone cut out when I was doing it. So, let's give him another go. Plus, I'm quite proud of how he works, so I'm quite happy to show him off again. Bum, 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 bum. Let's go get some more resources. Where was that? Ah, it's over there. Oh, actually, there's one here. What's this patch? We'll have a look at this. Silicon. Well, it's not a proper survival game anyway, it's just a demo, so let's mine some silicon. So we can see that in the floor there. If I turn on my mining projector, line that up. There we go. Cool. Hopefully we can do this from the floor. So we've got our mining projection. We've got our drone. We can launch the drone. He's got a whole bunch of AI blocks in him to do different bits. Oh, like an excavator crane drone. Oh, a drone with a crane arm. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, my shrimp thing has got extendable arms that are kind of like that. But yeah, you could probably do that. A drone with a crane arm probably wouldn't be too difficult. The only problem with flying things with subgrids is sometimes the thrusters get a bit confused with physics calculations, so sometimes they tend to droop a bit, and I forgot to turn that light on. There we go. There we go, he's drilling a bit better. Yeah, with Flying things at subgrids, yeah, sometimes the thruster calculations get a bit funny and they start to droop a little bit and like sink towards the ground. So you might have to have a little play around with that kind of thing to get it to work properly, but it's usually just a case of adding a few extra thrusters to kind of account for it a little bit. And then yeah, when he gets to the desired depth, he will turn the terrain mode off and he will just start digging up the ground, and he also turns on his ejector system, so he tries to get rid of as much of that stone as he can as he goes. Silicon. Oh, that silicon was a little bit deeper. I could have set it to the next waypoint. Yeah, so I'm still trying to work out a sensible system for these waypoints that make sense of where to set the action for turning off the terrain removal mode. Because I'm trying to make it customizable. But yeah, I did try it with the waypoints closer together, and all that ended up happening was having a huge, gigantic list of waypoints in here, and it was really hard to work out what depth different things were, so I wish you could label these waypoints with something, so I could put like 5 meters, 10 meters, 15 meters or something like that, but unfortunately you can't. Yeah, once I've figured that out, I will try and publish this guy as soon as possible. Has he done? Has he decided that's enough? Oh, and he just got to the silicon. Oh well. We'll take him back anyway. So, he will then redock himself. I need to turn off some of the things on the AI blocks in that to stop the AI route coming up. No, the Scarab is entirely vanilla. I don't really use script very much anymore these days. I have a bit of a thing for doing everything as vanilla as possible. I occasionally make my own mods for stuff, but I'm not really a scripter. I know there are loads of amazing scripts out there that do all sorts of cool stuff. I have used and do have a lot of them. Oh, I just got a buff for being alive, so if I press Shift and B... Oh look, we've got a buff now, because we were alive long enough. So we've now got a 10% boost to a bunch of stuff, and a 4% boost to that. So Shift and B brings up your active buff menu. That's cool. Yeah, you were doing stuff that you shouldn't have been doing. Why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that. Why are you sending a signal to that? That is the on and off switch for that. Have I got an ejector somewhere? Oh, hang on. Barab ejector light. No, that is not. You know, I'm just going to take that out of there and I'll fix it later. I'm not sure why. Oh, no, it's still doing it. Oh, I must have an event controller connected up wrong somewhere. Still a little bit of debugging to work out when you do everything vanilla. It all gets a bit confusing and overlapping sometimes. So there's still a few things I need to fix on this guy. But yeah, back to what I was saying, Red the Rage. Pretty much all of my stuff is vanilla these days anyway. Mostly vanilla, except maybe the occasional mod that I've built myself. Like, one of the mods I do regularly use is my improved small grid gyroscopes mod. It just boosts the strength of small grid gyros a little bit so I don't have to use as many on my builds. But other than that, everything is generally at least like 99% vanilla. More often than not, it's 100% vanilla. Do I have a video on how to make a scarab mining drone? No, I don't yet. I've got a little preview video of it in action. But if people would like a tutorial video on how I set up those auto miners, I could try and work out how to do one. The process is a little bit complicated sometimes. Like, is parking this truck apparently. Yeah, I definitely need to build a light that indicates when I am close to that. Yeah, there we go. Now we can connect. Yeah, I need to put a light on there, and I need to figure out what's going on with that ejector. That light shouldn't be triggering stuff on this drone. I'm not sure why it is doing that. Yeah, right, so that's him. You, I am going to turn off now, because you're going to get yourself into trouble. Right, so, other big mechs that I've been working on. I'm building these big boys just for fun. They're not really particularly functional. I just wanted to build something that shows off some of the other new tools. So I've got this big guy here with a new grinder on each arm. He pretty much works in a very similar way to the little hunter drones. Those guys walking about. He's got a patrol mode and the guard mode. So I can have him follow me around if I want to. He's a bit bigger and a bit slower. And he's got a patrol mode just for wandering about. But I decided to give them a little shoulder-mounted cannon. You've got a Gatling gun on you, just for a little bit of defence. The arms are AI controlled. In fact, let's turn you off. Get a decent position here. Grinder mech. There we are. So, like the hunter mechs, the smaller ones, we can control these. Just the mouse for moving around left and right. He's also got a balance control system in him, although it probably needs a little bit of an upgrade because he's getting quite heavy now. Yeah, I think I need to add a few more gyros to his balance control. Yeah, we can drive him around. On-off switch for the arms and an on-off switch for the gun. I'll control that arm if I want to. Let's put it into spectator. There we go. There we go. So I can grind stuff manually if I want. And you can turn that off and it'll just reset the arm back to normal. Right, stick that guy back on patrol mode. He'll go back to wandering about. Go over here. Oh, sorry, I missed this second half of your question there, Red Rage. You've been wanting to make your own hover mining excavator tank instead because of subgrids can't project print. Oh yeah, obviously, yeah, printing things with subgrids is a bit of a pain and quite difficult. So yeah, I could, yeah, building something like that without subgrids would be simple enough. Right, so, other mechs. We've got another of these industrial ones I've been playing with. This dude is equipped with the welders instead, which are quite cool, new looking design. I'm a big fan of these Type 2 variants that Keen are making of some of the older blocks. A lot of them are cool, but a lot of them have been around for a long time now and could do with a nice little upgrade. I think these new Type 2 variants have been pretty good in terms of visual upgrades. So, what else have we got? Well, that was pretty much all of my new drone designs. Which, like I said before, I am going to start publishing, finishing off and publishing these guys this week, if I can. If people are interested, I'll also publish this farm world, so they can have a go of it and reverse engineer some bits from it, if they like. Like the farming robots, for instance. I'm quite proud of these guys. And once again, thank you to Kilted Bastard for the inspiration for them. His video on auto farming was very, very helpful. And let's put some more mushrooms in there for now. That's nearly all of them. There we go. Alright, cool. Some more mushrooms. So... yeah, I forgot to turn the weather on for this game to show off the environmental hazards, but... oh, I'm sure players will get to learn about them soon enough. So, one of the environmental hazards that I probably can show off, actually, without the weather, is solar radiation. So, I'm on the Earth-like, and I am pretty safe from the sun's harmful rays right now. If I fly up into space, we'll get to see the solar radiation in action. And this is one of my new little vanilla stub-grid thruster type ships. He's a little bit of a cargo transport thing. He's got some, again, some modular containers inside him. And I've kind of designed it for ferrying goods back and forth from my farm up to my space station. I have been trying to play around with a way of automating that and getting it to fly automatically. And I've been having a few little issues with it. Namely, trying to get the ship to fly back down at a reasonable speed without hitting the ground and without running out of fuel before it gets back to the floor again. So, there's a few things that need working out in terms of automating the transport system, but it can fly well enough. It's got a lot of hydrogen thrust output, store a decent amount of fuel, and it has got some atmos for a little bit of a boost in atmospheres. So I'll fly this up to the station and we'll have a look at space. The space is considerably more dangerous now. The radiation can be quite scary. In fact, I'm still in the atmosphere at this station, so we might not get any solar exposure yet. I can't remember whether I parked my ship above the atmosphere line or just inside it. Go, I'm not far away now. I think I need to add a few more gyros to this as well. Because of the big subgrids on the side, it has a bit of an issue trying to roll. I might need a few more gyros for that. Anyway, there we go. We are nearly at my orbital station. Oop, I could have slowed down a bit sooner. Oh no, we're alright. Alright, let's try and dock up here without messing it all up. Need to redesign these docking platforms a little bit so it's a bit safer to get out my ship in a gravity well, because currently if I get out of this without a hydrogen pack, I will just plummet to the floor. I do need to redesign this slightly. There we go. They can lock down there, that'll all turn everything off. Whee! That's what I mean, I need to redesign that so that doesn't happen. And then we can make our way into here, because I have added a small farm to this station now. This is my little airlock system. It's got an independent set of tanks to extract air into that aren't connected to the rest of the ventilation system. So it can only extract a small amount of air, and it doesn't end up just sucking out everything. And then when the airlock activates again, it sticks it back onto pressurized mode, and it just dumps out that little bit of oxygen it picked up. That's been working quite well so far. Yeah, so I've put a few more of the new conduit bits in here. And I've also put a few of the new cargo crates up here. Where are we at? We're at the manufacturing side. I landed on the wrong one. I want my cafe. Actually, no. I need to go to the crew cabin first. Cafe is that way, medical bay is that way, crew cabin is on the opposite side. Oh yeah, so I've popped some irrigation systems into here so we can get water for our farms. Hello, robot. Probably need to get some ice to put into there, actually. Oh dear. I forgot to put ice in it altogether, didn't I? Which means the crops I planted earlier are probably actually dead. But then again, that'll be a good example of what happens when you're not paying attention to your farming. There's the one, purple floor, this is the one. There we go, lots of dead crops because I didn't actually put any ice in the irrigation system. So, this is what happens if you don't give your plants any water. You end up with cause of death, low water, so they eventually just wither away. They sat there for 21 minutes and just died. Same with all of them. So, dead mushrooms, dead grain, dead everything. Brilliant. Where have I got cargo access in this room? I've got there, but not really proper cargo access. Maybe I need to change that at some point. Yeah, anyway, dead crops, fantastic. So yeah, that's what happens if you don't water your plants. They all die. Dun dun dun. Right, which way is the cafe? Medical bay. Manufacturing. Cafe. This way. There's my music in my cafe. So the cafe now has its own food processing unit as well. Ah, I thought I put those in there earlier. So we can process all that, cook all that meat. And what do we get? So, insect meat. Lovely. A cooked cut of meat from an insectoid creature. While rich in protein, it is bland in taste. The flavour is often described as a mix between cod and chicken, and with a soft tofu-like texture. A cooked cut of meat from an insectoid creature while oh, it's just the same thing again, with slightly different wording. Okay. Well, I obviously need to come back here properly. Where did we land my ship? Oh, it was over by manufacturing, wasn't it? Crew cabin, manufacturing. There we go. Oh yeah. So, I've also... Yeah, we're above the atmosphere of the planet, so the radiation should work. We are... Oh yeah. So, I've added some algae farms in amongst all the oxygen farms, so that the station can now produce a little bit of basic food. Because without ferrying seeds back and forth between a planet and a station, the only real way you can make basic food in space seems to be the algae farms. So if you're living on your ship, they are a good quick resort for eating and staying alive. Ah, when I just walk back on myself, wrong way. Oh yeah, there's my ship over there. So, when you're in a pressurized environment out in space, you're pretty much safe from the radiation. But if you are outside the ship and exposed to it, and exposed to the direct sunlight, that's when it seems to give you the radiation poisoning. I'll close that. You're outside. Oh, there we go. Radiation exposure level. And that just slowly builds up and builds up and builds up over time. And then if we get out of direct sunlight, all I need to do is be in here and away from the direct sun, and you can see that exposure level starts to drop back down again. And there we go, I'm no longer suffering from radiation exposure. But yeah, once you step outside into the sun, it starts to get a bit more hazardous. Oh, I forgot to put my faction icon mod into this save file. Oh well. Lots of things I forgot in a hurry. Cool, right, so I'm going to jump back in that ship. And I'm going to attack my base. There it is. And we'll fly back down to the base, because I am going to wrap this stream up in a few minutes. I wasn't really intending to do 2-hour-long streams. I was planning to do one sort of hour-and-a-half-ish kind of stream, but my Wi-Fi card had other ideas apparently. So, on the way down, actually, I might as well explain some of the workings of this ship. So, it's got thrusters on the main grid for each direction, and they trigger a whole bunch of event controllers in each direction. So, for instance, the forward thruster has got all the forward thrusters attached to it that are on the, all of the forward thrusters that are on the main body attached to that, and it reads those signals, and when it gets above that, above 95, because I needed to set it quite high for this, otherwise it starts doing weird stuff, that then turns off the reverse controller as a little bit of a failsafe, and then it just sets the overrides. It'll set a little override on the reverse thruster so it doesn't start reacting to inertial dampening when we don't want it to, and it will set the override on the main thrusters on these wings to 100%. So that way we get basically full vanilla subgrid controls. They're all set up like that. So they all turn on the appropriate thrusters and turn off the opposing event controller for the opposite direction. And it seems to work quite well for doing forward and backward, left and right. Go up and down, and because of the way it's set up, it also reacts to inertial dampening as well. So if I drop like so and then let go, the thruster on the bottom of the main grid reacts, and then it triggers the ones on subgrids. There you go, scriptless subgrid thruster controls. Real simple, just event controllers and thruster overrides, pretty much. Right, so let's see if I can land down here safely without crashing into the ground. Just fly down that way. Yeah, so as I was saying before about subgrid flying things, if I let go of my mouse, you will see the front end of this grid slowly drifts and droops down at the front. Because all the physics going on between all these different subgrids, it kind of gets a little bit messy with the gravity calculations. You'll end up with things drooping in weird places. We're not far off now. But yeah, every time I nose up, it will start to eventually nose down, which is a little bit annoying. Where are we? We are miles off target. There we go. Slowly but surely. There we go. Yeah, the only problem with doing subgrid controls with purely event controllers is sometimes they fight with each other, because there's a little bit of a tick delay when you're triggering stuff. And they also react to inertial dampening, so yeah, sometimes they fight each other a little bit. Not a perfect system, but it is a reasonably functional script-free alternative for people that don't want to or can't use scripts for whatever reason. I also think I need to build a camera on the bottom of here somewhere so I can dock a little bit better. I like to build docking cameras on stuff so I can see the landing pad without having to do all sorts of stupid third-person stuff. I like to be able to try and do as much of it from first person as possible. I've just not got around to figuring out how to squeeze a camera underneath there. There's not really the room for it. But anyway, we are now back at the surface. There we go. And we can lock down, and he's got a docking controller in him that basically turns off thrusters and gyros and recharges and refuels batteries and tanks when it is connected up to the base. So that's that subgrid ship. We've had a look at a bit of those signals. We've had a look at a bunch of those mechs. We've had a look at my drilling setups. Oh yeah, this dude. This is an older design that I found. I'll have a little look at him before I knock off for the night. This is an older design of mine that I based on a picture I found on the internet. Probably a couple of years ago now, actually. And I've done a little bit of redesigning with him. And I'm going to try and publish him in the next couple of days as well. And he is just a little assault drone type thing. I think I still need to do a little bit of balancing on his thrust output versus power output to make him a little bit sharper to use. Let's turn that off for a second. There we go, I can control him manually now. And he's got a bunch of event controllers in him that react to grid speed and make the wings and bits on it move about. various different speeds. So he's got a little bit of just a little bit of animation to him. I can't help myself but put subgrids on things. And he's also got some little dual Gatling gun turrets on the front. And again, he's got a guard mode for following me around as a player. So if I wanted to, I could have him stalking around, although I think I forgot to reset that from earlier when I was doing some stuff. And change that minimum altitude. I don't want him smacking into the floor. We've got that, and I can just put him back onto control mode. So with a lot of my mechs, I usually set up a guard mode and a patrol mode for them. Type in mode. So that is usually just a light that triggers an event controller. So just block switched on and off, using the light as the trigger. And then that will turn on all of the appropriate AI blocks, like the movement or the flight block, the task block, and the offensive block. We'll turn them on and off, and the light switches on and off. We'll also turn the AI for those blocks on and off. And I've got a broadcast controller in there to send signals to tell me that those modes have been turned on and off. And that is generally how I do most of my AI controls for stuff. Just set it up like that, or the AI switches at least. And then he can go off and he can just float around. I've been trying to set him up with an auto docking system, but his AI blocks have been giving me grief and I'm not sure why. They've been a bit funny about that. Yeah, so what's that? I've been doing this one for an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this stream up here now. Because I'm tired, it is late where I am, and I want to go to bed. So, thank you for watching, thank you for chatting. Thank you for people that have subscribed during this stream. Thank you very much to you guys. Like I said, I will be publishing all of these bits over the course of the week as I finish them off. For people to have a mess around with. Especially the 2 mining drones. And I will try and do a tutorial on how to set up something similar to the Sphinx here with the auto mining system. Because it's not actually that complicated, it's just a bunch of logic and getting things in the right order. And I'll also publish the farming robots for anybody that wants them. I'm quite happy with them, they work pretty well. It's just a shame I have to plant all the damn seeds myself. Little pack. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Your stamina for running now is tied to your hunger. So if your hunger bar runs low and runs into the red, you won't be able to sprint anymore. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, right, so yeah, that's all of that realistically. Cool. I'm going to end this stream here then, and I'm going to go to bed. So, thank you for watching, thank you for chatting, stay tuned for blueprints on my workshop pages as they appear, and have fun playing with the new Apex Survival update. So, thank you all for watching, goodbye for now.